My name's AJ, and I am addicted to watches. Yes, it has been 1 week and 1 day since the last time I bought a watch. 8 whole days. Can I get a round of applause? You don't look happy with me.
See, I live my watch addiction through you spending. I get that rush, but with your expense.
That doesn't seem fair somehow.
Oh, I need you to buy
Right,
because the pace is greater with yours. I'm working towards a bigger watch.
Yeah.
The problem is I keep seeing a certain Tudor 68 popping up and I feel distracted. There was a recent conversation I had and I'm trying not to.
I have to apologise for that because when I say at the end of the episode, if you buy the wrong watch, let me know because I'll probably buy it off you.
Yeah.
Now people are starting to reach out with direct messages saying, I've got this watch. Do you want to buy it?
Yeah.
And the Black Basic 8, although beautiful, is probably too big for me. But for you, it's the perfect watch.
It's a distraction to my goal,
Yes.
and I'll probably end up with it. Yeah. My name's Pete, and I'm a watch addict. Although, unfortunately, I'm currently in recovery and doing really well.
How long's it been?
And that makes me miserable. I'm currently 2 weeks since I've had any happiness in my life.
That's incredible. I feel sad for you.
Yeah.
Disappointed as well. But I think in this group where we're trying to help each other recover from our addictions.
I'll be honest.
Yes.
I fear getting removed from the group if I leave it much longer.
If you leave it any longer, I will find a replacement because I would actually call you cured at that point.
Yeah.
You've recovered. You're in full recovery. You get that badge, the 1 year sober.
I don't want that badge.
No, you don't want that badge. Comes with the mark of shame.
Yeah, it smells of shame.
Okay, so if it's been that long since you've bought a watch, how many watches are you currently watching? What's your eBay watch list? What's your bookmark tab situation? How often do you spend looking every night?
It's kind of unfair because the numbers is probably too high to quantify. In as much as I don't honestly know off the top of my head because I am watching quite a lot of. I've got a lot of items saved on eBay that I'm stalking in case they send me an offer, but they range from Panerai Dreams,
Yes,
Omega Seamaster that is going to be my next watch if I don't trip over before and prolong it.
yeah.
So I've got quite a few watches and I'm still looking at the Tudor Royals and I don't know why. I'm kind of like, is that a mistake watch? Do I need that watch?
What about the Tudor Explorer?
I've got probably about 10 different ones saved.
I imagine when you say it's too high to compute, it's a bit like when you have a calculator and you try and do a big number sum and it just comes up with E.
Yeah.
Error.
Yeah.
That's a number. Error.
And things don't make sense.
Yeah. What about Tudor Explorer? Why has that not been mentioned?
I do need it. I need that watch. I've got so many problems with the Explorer. Now, a good friend of ours that we met in a retailer's, he made it really hard for me to walk out of that retailer's without that watch.
Yeah.
And I did. And
If you get the Tudor Pro,
yeah.
opening dial, I imagine,
Yeah.
does that rule you out from getting a Rolex Explorer?
Well, the Rolex Explorer is not even on my radar as a watch that I need in the collection. I have a Rolex that I'll get at some point, but the journey is not a race for me. So I'm enjoying picking out loads of different watches. And do you know, like the highlights for a lot of people is like, oh, you've got to have an Explorer as an everyday. It's like a kind of beta. That's like the comfort level. I think with Explorers and subs and sea dwellers, I think sadly they own the person who wears them.
Yes.
I want it to be a watch that I walk out at the ADs and kind of scuff.
Here's an interesting one.
And then just relax.
Looking at like the Tudor Pro, the Rolex Explorer, very similar looking watches. There was recently the Christopher Ward summer sale
Yeah.
And in that, they had some of their GMTs that have the same design, same bezel design.
Yeah.
I noticed you weren't even interested.
No.
Why is that?
I still love a GMT. I love that complication. I don't need to scratch that itch. I know that I'll do an Explorer. Sorry, that's your fault. I'll get a Tudor Pro at some point.
Yeah.
Even though it's a 39, but it wears great on me.
Yeah.
And I kind of love it in the way that it fulfills the watch space. Like for me, I'm really happy with that. It doesn't need to have a Rolex badge for me to love it.
No.
Do you know,
But why not the Christopher Ward then? It's just an interesting kind of thought experiment.
it doesn't do the same thing for me in that way.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's not the badge necessarily, and this is the weird thing. Like the thing that I love about Tudor, I say there's like that essential list. Like everyone, it's different for everyone, so it's not like my list is right. But one of the things on that list that I love are the hands.
Yes.
See, I don't like those ornate dress style hands, the kind of
super thin,
or detailed calligraphy style. I don't like all of that. Just robust. I love the Tudor style on it. That's just one of the things.
Does the Pelagos make more sense for you then? I know it's not the same complication, but when you're talking about what you like about a dial and hands, and that's what attracts you to a watch.
The FXD's got it does things to me. Yeah. Definitely.
Well, the Ultra. With the teal.
Yeah. That is a beautiful watch.
It's a beautiful watch.
It gives me kind of Oris tingles.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
It's got that kind of colour pop. The text font being coloured in the same way as the second hand. I love that kind of like little pops.
I struggled with the Christopher Ward Summer Sale because I really like the Lumiere. I've kind of fancied that watch for a while. And a couple of them popped up in the summer sale, but it's such an awkward price point that it's not low enough that's a frivolous. That's cool, but it's not too high that it's expensive, like an expensive watch. But it sits at a price point where a lot of other watches will sit around. I think the RRP on it's 17.
Yeah.
And in the sale, it came down to like 1350, 1400, something like that. So it's a very awkward price point for that watch. You're getting a lot of watch for your money, undoubtedly, but there's a lot of other watches for that money that I feel like it's detracting me from.
Yeah.
If you follow, it's like, I'm not saying it's not worth it. I'm just saying it's very awkwardly priced.
There's just where you're at the moment, I guess that is. Like for me, where I'm at the moment, I would rather have a 5-year-old Chopard used than rush out and spend the equivalent money on brand new. And you're talking sort of like, I don't know, 5-6 grand.
What else we talk about?
Where the value sits for you
now.
we
talk about that 5-6 grand kind of price point. What did you go on the Loco when you got it in hand? Because that's like you're talking about that kind of price point, and you get 4 grand.
Highs and lows.
Yeah.
The high is this is incredible art. What they've done here is exceptional. The case back, looking through the exhibition case back, and that movement, it's a thing of beauty. Then does it talk to me? Not really. Personally, not really. I love it for all of the artistic reasons, and I'm so glad it exists in the current journey of British watchmaking.
Yes.
That is a piece of art.
Yeah.
But do you know, for the money that I'd have to spend to own that piece of art in my collection, there's just other pieces of art that I want more. And I guess the big downfall for me in hand was seeing it on the same strap that's used.
Literally in my head's at. It
on
looks
the Trident.
It looks best, like aesthetically, on the straps because of the color and the color combinations. That they just pop. They've done a beautiful job of that. The dial is such a deep version of that color. It's really beautiful. the problem goes that their straps just aren't very nice.
Yeah.
The taper's too much. I'm not a particularly big fan of the material, something about the type of rubber they're using. I just don't think they match up to the quality of the actual watch. So you'd want it on a bracelet, really.
Yeah.
Something that's like $4,000. You want to put it on a bracelet.
On a bracelet, it looks insane and it removes the biggest part of its downfall.
But I don't think it looks as good aesthetically on a bracelet, which is a real problem
and
for it.
That's where it had like oh my God, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Because in pictures, it's banging.
It's incredible, yeah.
But then in hand, and you realise, well, that's exactly the same strap that I've got on my Trident.
Yeah.
It's just kind of...
It's not very nice.
That's just feels like a 30 quid strap.
Yeah, it does.
Why would I put a 30 quid strap on a multiple thousand watch?
Yeah, difficult.
But yeah, there's some real highs with Christopher Ward. I love that they exist. I love what they're doing. And I want to kind of support that. We both own Christopher Ward watches. In the flesh, I saw the Belcanto and the Loco at the same time.
Yeah.
Both incredible pieces. I just think, you've got to swallow it and buy it on the bracelet if you're going to do it.
And also, there is an inherent flaw, which for you, I know, is a particularly big deal. But for me, in the flesh, it was an issue too. The primary function. It's like the number one thing is legibility, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the actual time reading part of the watch is almost like an afterthought, isn't it, on that?
Yeah.
It's got this, basically, what would be the size of a small second-hand window is the entire watch face, is the entire clock face part. And it's like, it kind of feels like art for its own sake with a watch.
Well, it's a flex, isn't it?
It's a flex.
The whole watch is a flex. And I think it does that flex really well, but it is kind of style over substance.
Yeah. And it's a watchmaking, it's a horology flex, and for that it's great. And the pictures of it are amazing. I just think in the flesh, there's parts of it that would make me struggle spending that kind of money on it.
Do you know what will really make you struggle is when you find out that the servicing costs means it has to go through them.
Of course,
because it's an in-house movement, and at that point you're really in a honey trap, aren't you?
I imagine that's going to be very difficult, very expensive to service. Because what is it, 100-something hour power reserve?
Unless they come up with something amazing that kind of encourages you. But I do worry about those kind of dead-end routes where if I buy this from you, then I'm stuck when it comes to the servicing side of having to go through you because no one else wants to touch it.
I really want to explore that brand that's based up in their old offices that do servicing of independent brands. Horologium, is it?
Yeah. Horologium?
Yeah. Because that's kind of interesting. I want to see if we can talk to them and do something with them, like feature them on the show or something. I don't know. I haven't really thought it through, but the idea of being able to have an outlet to service your micro brand and like independent brand watches is a really cool thing.
So to kind of expand on that, we met a guy who works for this company that seems to be the one-stop solution to crazy watch addicts. You can kind of put pretty much all brands through these guys and they'll be able to service them.
Because when you consider
full rebuild services as well, which is pretty amazing.
And when you consider it does make sense that it would be a service that someone offers, because a lot of these watches are using the same or similar movements. You think how many watches are using a Solita SW200? Like,
Myotos.
Exactly. Like, it's going to be.
I mean, they're not going to service an NH35, but you could
just. But why not? You could if it's cheap enough.
I think because they're so cheap, you just pay a set price for a replacement. Send it off, and they'll put a whole new heart in it.
Maybe, but like.
The whole movement is that cheap. I don't think it's worth.
Not anymore, though. That's the one thing. Seiko movements. That's why people are moving over to the Myoto 9000 series.
Wow.
Seiko don't want so many brands using, a bit like Seagull did with the ST 19, whatever it was called. They realise that so many people are using their movements. They're like, actually, we want to keep Seiko a little bit closed off.
Okay.
So they've raised the prices. I know a viewer named Scott, who likes to build his own with like kits.
Yeah.
Was using the Seiko NH35, and he said it's like tripled in price. Like, oh, that's interesting, isn't it? They're really starting to restrict access to the market.
As you're calling out viewers, I do need to drop into the conversation here. this is a therapy group. It's not
Yes.
just me and you.
No.
And I see the same names coming up week after week, and I like it.
Yeah. It's good that you're naming yourself, shaming yourself.
But there's no need to stay anonymous. We're not judging.
Well, a little bit.
Jump into the comments. Tell us your last watch purchase.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What are you watching?
Unburden
currently now?
yourself.
Yeah. Well, what are you wearing? Because that's a good segue. Because Pete, what you wearing?
Well, I have.
Oh, wow.
That's right. Yeah, I've busted out a Seiko 5.
It's a special one.
Yeah, it was this my birthday watch from you?
It was, yes.
I wasn't sure if you got it for birthday or Christmas, but yeah.
No, Christmas I got you the Mondane clock.
So this is the Hurricane.
Yes.
It's just a classic Seiko 5, and I've gone for a matchy match.
I have to say, the N-word strap, we can't say the names because you're not allowed to say the N-word. The N-word strap you've put on it, the colour, absolutely makes that watch.
Yeah.
Absolutely makes it.
I really enjoy it. It kind of feels like that's how it was on the shelf.
What
but
did
it's
it come
obviously not.
with? Was it black leather? Black rubber?
Do you know what?
I can't remember what it came on.
I
Or was it a bracelet?
I don't think I ever wore it. I immediately took it off.
It was a bracelet. It's their cheap Seiko bracelets.
Yeah, I think it was.
That's the only problem with the entry level from Seiko, not the Prospects or Presage range. The the sports range, the bracelets are just horrible. So change them and you reinvent the watch. That looks insane.
Tiny lugs on this as well. Like it.
How's it? 20, is it?
It's kind of small on the wrist.
Oh, you mean the length? Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. You're right.
Yeah, no, they're just short, stubby lugs.
It's cool.
But yeah, I like it. 8-inch wrist. It kind of like it sits in there. It's just
The color
out of all the
carries it for the
Seiko
size.
5s. I think
Yeah.
I went Seiko very early on. I Pop Swatch was where I started.
Wow.
My name's Pete, and I started with a Pop Swatch.
I started with a Casio.
You were one of the cool kids.
No, I trying to be one of the cool kids. I was one of the £10 F91 kids.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
OG.
Yeah, with a green light.
Representing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cool kids then went onto the remote controls.
I couldn't. I wanted it so
I
bad.
really wanted one
God.
of those remote controls.
Do you know, one day I'll get one.
Yeah.
They won't work anymore.
The cool
but-
kids
Yeah.
also had the calculator ones.
Oh, the calculator.
70 quid in the Argos catalogue every year, dear Santa.
I cannot tell you.
Catalogue number. Da, 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 da.
Do you know, it's funny, you've just unlocked core memories.
Yeah.
I remember the emotion of seeing it and wanting it. So it was something about the buttons, and I just wanted it so badly.
They knew their marketing then. You know, back in the days, in the 80s, where they were advertising to kids in the
the
morning,
catalogues.
in between Rugrats was Argos TV adverts.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was like, even when they were doing Lego, they built a whole world. So the background was like out of
Real
a movie
water and
kind of thing.
stuff.
Yeah. Whereas for me, when you had an Action Man, it just had carpet and a fireplace behind it.
Some books.
Yeah. But on TV, when they had Action Man, there was a desert. There
Mud.
was real sand in the house.
Yes.
That was never going to happen.
No.
Yeah, so the TV advertising back then was all about that kind of thing, wasn't it? But Pop Swatch was amazing. I kind of skipped out Seiko. I did get an early Seiko, but it was just a Quartz. These Seiko 5s, I was like, I'm jumping in on that. I really wanted one. And I talked about this for quite a while. And then you managed to find me one for my birthday, which was pretty epic.
Yeah, in the UK, they were genuinely hard to find. I had to import it. Not saying that I had to go for a big effort or anything. That you should be more thankful. But I had to import it.
It's amazing, isn't it? That little stripe just changes it up.
And on the is it the chapter ring? I was not sure when it's.
Yeah, the little
shaken.
zebra bits.
Yeah, it's cool. It's what's interesting as well is that I bought you that watch and you haven't got rid of it. Unlike the watches you bought me.
Yeah.
It almost seems like you're a better friend than I am.
It's story. It's ages and stages, and I
is
don't
it the
like
perfect
selling
entry
stuff.
watch? Do you think Seiko 5?
Do you know what? You have to wait until that video title pops up on the channel.
But it's a good shout.
Yeah, I mean it's a solid all rounder, isn't it?
Great movement.
Here's the thing with Seiko: it's like pretty much most people's first automatic watch.
Yeah. I think the only thing that
starts the love of engaging with a watch.
in truth, the only thing that really there's two things actually that really lets down Seiko 5s. The bracelet's the number one by a long way. The second is they don't use sapphire, they use hard lex. It's just a shame that on that range they don't.
Yeah.
So you don't get the like AR coating and
the
scratch resistance.
The case and everything feels beautiful.
Yeah, I think they just look cool as well. They're just cool looking watches.
Yeah, it's a vibe. It's a vibe.
And the case is nicely made.
Case is beautiful.
Compared to the bracelet, it's insane.
Crown at 4 o'clock's kind of iconic.
Yep.
And I think viewer named Scott needs to kind of fall down this rabbit hole.
Yes, he does.
He would love it. But yeah, mixed it up with a nylon strap, and it's fire.
I thought you were going to say the N word then.
No. AJ, what you wearing?
What you wearing? I'm wearing a Tag Heuer Formula One in what I could only describe as atomic yellow.
Yeah.
And
well, I like atomic yellow. I think it's like venom, isn't it? It's like a.
It probably has a
acidic,
name like
toxic,
that. Yes,
or something like that.
It is. Let's just say it. Put my cards on the table. It's a Quartz watch.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about this? Are we all right about this?
I'm okay with it.
Judgment.
I'm okay. There's probably judgment in the group.
I have this weird thing with Quartz watches and I know we spoke about them when we were talking about building our perfect collection.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with Quartz chronographs at all because you don't see the tick. You know, the thing about automatic...
The subtlety on a chrono is amazing for Quartz.
Yes.
If you're going to do a Quartz, hide it with a chrono.
Yeah, yeah. And it also, here's the thing for you frugal watch investors and collectors, servicing costs is obviously going to be dramatically less with a Quartz chronograph.
That's a win.
Compared to an automatic one. Automatic chronographs cost a fortune to service.
Yeah.
As you know.
You can still get the Swiss. Still say Swiss movement.
Swiss made. It's still a thing. It's cool. It's one of those watches that's more about its style than its substance, I think.
Yeah.
Like a bright yellow Formula One Quartz watch.
Yeah.
But for it's really cool. It's even got the way the dial is brushed is what I like about it as well. It's not just a flat yellow, so you get brushing on the dial, so it catches the light in different ways. In certain angles, it almost goes gold.
It's got a lot going on. Is it the sort of watch in 20 years that you would still rock?
I don't know, if I'm honest.
I think...
Because of the colour.
I reckon you could put a black strap on that and go, yeah, unoffensive.
Yeah, 100%.
Because the dial is almost like a gold yellow at its darkest.
Yeah.
Before the light hits it and it pops that kind of brighter.
There's stupid little details that I like about it, as I always say about watches. The first little detail, and this is the most stupid of all, it has the coloured Tag Heuer logo, like old school Tag Heuer. So you get that green and red. I don't know why, but I really love that. It feels a little bit more special somehow.
It's just a nod to the past.
Yeah.
It's like when cigarette advertising was on Formula One cars. That's what it reminds me of.
Yes.
Like real old,
you get
back in the day styling.
The other thing that's really nice, applied markers, texture, depth to dials is just so important. So you get depth, a sense of 3 dimensions to your dial, the applied markers. At 12 o'clock, it's 12 and it's applied rather than just printed. I don't know what it is, but I love them. Obviously, you can't touch it, but it almost feels tangible.
Yeah.
When it has those depth things. Yeah, it's just it's a solid, stylish, cool watch. I don't know how long I'll keep it on the yellow for. The other thing I'm worried about, as you quite often say, with like coloured straps, they will catch the colour of your clothing at some point. For certain, that's going to get like denim-y blue on it from jeans.
Or desk mat rub.
Yeah.
So how long the colour your desk mat is, it does rub off.
Yeah, so how long it will keep that. But the straps are really nice quality. It's a very thick rubber. It feels solid. But yeah, how long it will stay on there, I don't know. I think eventually it will go black and I'll just have a black and yellow.
It's beautiful. I very, very nearly bought myself one.
In yellow?
No, but I've got the Aqua Racer. I very nearly got the black on bracelet.
Oh, the bracelet's nice. Tag do great bracelets, that's for certain. I've seen in the sales recently the red version of this, which I thought you might have kind of.
I don't.
Just imagine.
I don't need the distraction
red
right
dial,
now. I love the red one. Yeah,
red
I
strap.
really love. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want the distraction of it. And I have got room for a red one.
You haven't got a red one in your collection, have you?
No.
Oh.
No, but I can make space.
What about Tag F1 red? And that's different enough from your Aqua Racer, which was a problem we had before.
Yeah, no, it really is. It really is.
And then you've got...
But it puts me behind for my Amiga focus.
Or it puts you ahead in the I'm a winner focus.
Okay. Well, I guess that offsets, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, that makes you better. You're one better.
I should look at it after we record.
Yes.
What do you want to talk about today, AJ?
Today, I want to talk about going into your AD, the importance
of going and seeing your dealer.
Of going and seeing your dealer, absolutely. Yeah. Establishing a relationship with your dealer and all the magical things that happen inside their cupboard of tricks to you and your watch collecting journey. It's vast, and I think it's very easy for us watch collectors to get obsessed with looking at micro brands on websites, looking at deals, the discounts on goldsmiths and eBay secondhand, and the magic of Chrono 20. Like, it's very easy to do your entire watch collecting journey behind a screen. But in my mind, that whole thing is a bit like just listening to music on Spotify. Bear with me, because this is a weird analogy. When you listen to music on Spotify, you rarely find new music or new music from the band that you love that's hidden in track 5 of their album from 4 years ago.
Yeah, I like that.
You don't have that same experience as when you would buy an album and there'll be a track you fall in love with after listening to it 3 times, or your mate goes, you've got to listen to this, check this out.
Okay.
You just get what is like the most common things fed to you. It's an algorithm, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you don't get to experience it in a different way to find new things. You'll just get the same things over and over again. So when you're looking at watches online, you're not going to find new things. You're going to look at the same things over and over again. You'll have watch rules. I can only wear above 40 mil. It has to have this movement. It has to be this brand. You just keep looking at them. You'll keep these watch rules. You'll never break them.
Wow.
Until you go and touch a watch.
For every bit of analogy you threw out there, I can go, oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. So watch rules.
Watch rules.
I can't wear a 39.
You can't wear a 39. No, you can't. No, too small.
Went into an AD's, had decided the Tudor Pro was too small for me.
Yeah.
He pulled one out, try it on. Actually, it wears really well.
There's a thing about...
So, yeah. Size
is a huge one to focus on because not all sizes are equal.
So even with the best deal on a website, there's no way that I would have considered that.
I bet you filter out on your searches.
Yeah.
Above 40 only.
That's right.
I do it. I did it. And there's this thing when you go and try watches on that changes everything. It's a realization that not all watch sizes are made equal. Yes, they are physically that size. They're not mismeasuring. But when you put a watch on, dependent on how high it is, how long the lugs are, what the strap color is, or is it a bracelet, all these things, how big the dial is, how legible it is, like all those bits contribute to how it sits on your wrist. And it's only when you get to put it on your wrist can you really properly measure it up.
I think there's so much to be said for going into a boutique.
Yes.
It could just be a normal watch jeweller's. Like, I mean, every time I go into a high street, especially if we go out as a family, that's my escape. That's my sanctuary.
You're going to go in the clothes shop. I'm just going in here for an hour.
It's like known.
Yeah.
We don't even have a conversation about it anymore. I guess you're going over to there. And, there's certain places where we regularly go shopping, and it's where I'll escape the misery every time. So it's kind of expected.
Can I go shopping with you and your family next time?
Yeah.
It sounds amazing.
I'm just going to go and chill out there. In fact, the last time we went, I was at the AD's, and she knocks on the door. Waits because they lock you in. So I'm sat there, and she came over and she goes, "Are you just sat here drinking coffee?"
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I am.
This is like
I've escaped. I'm in the aircon.
This is like an opium den. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Of course I'm still in it. I'm chasing the dragon.
It's amazing. But do you know what? That's the thing with building up a relationship with the authorized dealers of various brands. So when you're regularly going to these places, they look after you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a valued customer to them. So if you're spending money with these places, they know that, not every time you pop in are you going to be dropping thousands of pounds.
100% really important, because I know from speaking to some of you fellow watch addicts, there's sometimes for some of them, maybe new collectors as well, a reluctance to go in.
Yeah.
Because it feels like, if I'm going in there, because it's a locked door and there's a concierge,
I don't want to waste their time.
I don't want to waste the time. I'm not going to buy a watch. The flip side is they want to show you. Their job, yes, is to sell, but second is to show you.
Yeah.
They want you to look at it. They want you to test drive these things. They want you to go away to tell someone, because it's actually part of their marketing. They want you to be excited, and they will treat you like their best customer, even if you're not buying anything. You're not wasting their time. It's what they do. It's what they're there for.
And I can honestly say I've only ever had great experiences.
Yeah.
It's by putting watches on and going, I know I'm not buying today, but I'll just try it on. And I hate to waste your time, but I'd really like to look at this.
You can even open with that. I know we did it in Breitling in Cribs Causeway.
Yeah.
We went in and said, look, we're not going to buy anything today, but I'd love to have a look at these if you've got them. It's like, yes, of course. They want to show you. They want you to be excited, and they probably want you to go away with the idea of buying it that you didn't have before. It's their job to convince you.
And quite often, that's where the plan falls apart.
Oh, yeah.
Because now the salesman goes through his toolkit. I have an end of month targets.
Oh, that's interesting.
Can actually do a bit of wriggle room on that.
Oh.
And the reason you hadn't considered it before is you weren't complete enough on savings.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But what if I can make that
What if I can knock
the right price?
10% off of that for you?
Yeah. And the amount of times I've ended up falling down that rabbit hole is like, I'm thinking I'll probably go for that in a couple of months' time. Like, I know that I've set my sights on it, and end up walking out with a watch then. Because they just enable you to.
I think about the most recent one when we did it together was the T.W.A.T PRXs, wasn't it? Not an expensive watch by any stretch, but we'd gone into an AD's for you to get a link for your tag or something, or a part for your tag.
That's right, yeah.
And whilst we were there, like, can we try on some watches? And obviously the saleswoman was more than happy to help. And I was like, oh, you know what? I've not actually tried on the PRX. We tried it on, picked out two. We were both trying it on. And you just went, what could you do if we bought two? And then they come out with a crazy deal for two of them. So you're like, all right then, I guess we're buying a watch.
But that's it. I mean,
accidents.
Yeah, watch accidents can happen easily, especially when you buy multiple pieces. But I think it's just opening up with looking at the things that you love and then going, I really like this, but I'm not ready for it right now. But thank you for letting me see it.
But there's also...
And let them lead with, if they really want you to take that piece today, they're going to find a way of making it possible.
The other thing that's really exciting with that as well is that many of the sales staff in a boutique are watch nerds themselves.
Yeah.
They kind of have to be for the job. They're trained, they live it, they breathe it. They probably love it as well. You'll definitely find at least one in everyone that really loves watches as much, or maybe more than you do. If they see that you're enthusiastic about watches, like every watch nerd, they want to talk to you about watches.
Yeah.
They want to talk to you about what you're wearing. They want to talk to you about the thing that they've just got, what they're wearing. They will also, at this point, be your Sherpa. And it's a beautiful thing. I think back again, that experience at Cribs Causeway with Arvan, and he goes, do you want to try the non-chronograph top time? Because I just wanted to look at the chronographs. I was like, yeah, okay. But I'd ignored it because it's the new style and it's small and it's not a design I really liked. But he was excited enough and nerdy enough to go, I can see the kind of style that you like. Let me show you something that I think will be perfect for you. And then sure enough, of the 3 watches he brought out, one of them I've just deeply fallen in love with that I would have ignored until that point.
Well, I remember even in Tag, they had a tourbillon.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It was very rare for the stores to get it, but because they were a boutique, they got sent one. And he was like, have you seen it?
Yeah.
Like, no, I've seen it in a catalogue. I've never actually seen it in the flesh. It's like, let me get it for you and you can try it on. And then like hands on, so I think it's like 45 grand.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
But it's just incredible beauty. And those opportunities come just because you love watches.
And they're into watches. They're excited too, so they want to share it.
Oh, you love watches? Well, let me show you this because you'll clearly love this.
Yeah.
That's the sort of stuff that you don't get that kind of excitement. You don't get, I'd say a lot of my goals are when I'm in an ADs.
Yeah, it changes everything. I think Grand Seiko.
Grand Seiko accident came entirely out of that. You wanted to touch it.
Yeah,
and
we'd done
it.
an episode like the week before saying we really should go and try some. We happen upon a Goldsmiths, I think it was.
Yeah, Goldsmiths had a whole section for Grand
so I was like,
Seiko.
do you know what? There's a GMT. Anyway, I know we've told the story, but I left knowing that I have to buy a Grand Seiko. It was that special. So I would have just had this niggling. Everyone talks about them, but we don't get a chance to try them. And online, they just kind of look like a bit of jewelry. They're not. The pictures of them don't do it anywhere near as justice because you can never feel it, you can't see it moving. So that wouldn't have happened, that experience. There's a magical thing that happens if you do buy a watch from an AD and you've really established that relationship with them. And it's an emotional one that cannot be replicated. It's when you leave with a watch in a bag or on your wrist, but you leave having collected that thing. It's infinitely more magical than when one arrives through the post.
It's the whole buzz, isn't it?
So much better.
The whole journey home, you're buzzing.
Yeah.
How many times I've left a store with a new watch on my wrist, immediately, whatever I've gone there in, which is normally one of your better watches.
Because you're going to a jeweler's, yeah.
That ends up in the watch box.
Yes.
I've got my new one on, and the whole journey home, you're kind of looking down at your hand the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's all of that excitement, but then just the experience as well. It's like, if you're not driving, which is amazing, if you're not driving, you can have a drink in there and really treasure the experience of going and selecting a watch. And the only thing I can kind of go where my wife's had a similar experience was picking out wedding rings. And they do put the same effort into that. I mean, you're spending thousands of pounds in the same way. So, but like engagement rings, wedding rings, she enjoyed that whole kind of champagne experience and stuff.
It's special.
For us, we typically go in and have a coffee, but
again, if you do go in, if you're a novice at this, which I know there's a few that don't, go in, accept their offer of a drink because it's part of their transaction. And yes, it's part of their sales tactic to get you there to feel comfortable. They've given you something, so you have to give them something. But accept it because you'll start to enjoy this whole experience. You'll be more relaxed. And it's part of it. It's part of the enjoyment. Would you like a coffee? Well, I would love a coffee.
The coffee leads into sitting down at a table.
Yeah.
Sitting down at a table leads into a safer environment to be putting watches out on display.
Yes.
You know, it's no good passing you a watch from my hand to your hand.
Watch yourself in the corner of a chair.
Yeah. So look, let's take a table, and they bring the tray over with different watches that you've talked about, and just enjoy trying them on. You know, grab some photographs, remind yourself of what it looks like.
Yeah.
Especially if you do need a break in between today trying the watch and a day in the future where you're going to make that purchase. But the relationship building part
of it. That's huge, isn't it?
Is huge, especially when it comes to the whole watch addict journey of you want a waiting list watch later on, which we found out, through going to the ADs. You know, we've done a lot of our transactions with one ADs, and although they're a small chain, they get limited amount of watches, but we both listed 2 dream watches that we would love. Huge waiting list watches. They don't know that we do this. We're customers.
Yeah.
We're customers that are kind of stupid and make rash decisions. But within, I think, 8 weeks, get the phone call for the watch.
Yeah, it's everything. If you want, if you want certain things, waiting lists is one of them. If you want a watch enabler, if you want your watch dealer, your drug dealer, to phone you up when something cool's happening, when there's a sale on, or when they've got something in that he thinks you'll like, or maybe it's just an email, where if you need access to straps or bracelets or simple repairs that aren't clearly advertised, you go in, you see the guy or girl that you always talk to, they'll go, no, yeah, we can probably, let me make a phone call, I could probably sort that out for you. That is huge, especially if you don't have any watch friends close to you. One thing I'm increasingly aware of is that there's going to be people that don't have like a watch mate that they work with or that they're close to, that they're doing this hobby on their own.
Yeah.
And that they're getting everything off the internet, which is cool because there's loads of information, loads of sales, but nothing beats in person. So if you're a solo collector, then go to your jewelers and start trying on watches and go in there once a month. You know, don't irritate them. Go in once a month and just see what's new and try on the watch that you really love.
I think
it'll change everything.
Yeah, more than anything, I think every town centre across the UK, every shopping centre, numbers are down. Footfall numbers are down.
Yeah.
And yet we all go, oh, the high streets are dead. Well, they're dead because everyone's shopping online. If you want to keep the ability to be trying things on, to be able to get hands on, to be able to have your own local watches and wonders.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, where you get to see all the latest releases, then you've got to go and carpet tread.
Yeah.
And when there's an opportunity to do business. But yeah, we're friends with our local one and quite intentional because they're our enablers.
Yeah.
They're the ones that can give us access
the
into.
only unfortunate thing is I'm sure there's many people like us that live in the countryside, like we're right out in Cornwall. Our local one doesn't stock a lot. We have to go to Bristol for the first time we get like multiple under one roof watch brands.
Yeah.
So in many respects, we're probably establishing a closer relationship to one that's further away.
Yeah,
but I'm fine with that.
Certainly now because, you know, Breitling, Panerai, the Grand Seiko, Tag, all of those that are kind of on the radar. In fact, even the Tudor Pro, which is going to be a mistake that I'm going to be making. Yeah, they're all at another location.
Yeah.
You know, so
that place even had the Rolex authorized pre-owned, whatever they call it.
Yeah, which is kind of a new thing that seems to be happening. And that's another thing.
All the ADs are doing it now.
All the ADs are doing it because it allows them to
open a box and sell it.
Yeah. It allows them to have a bit of the action instead of selling at RRP.
Yeah.
Open the box, take the tags off.
And
all of a sudden you can use it as a pre-owned price.
I will
which
say
is
that,
higher than retail.
That was my suspicion as what would happen when they announced they were doing it. In truth, what I've seen, that one in Bristol and our local one in Cornwall, is actually older watches. It is actually a lot older. You're talking like some vintage ones, maybe some from like the 90s and early noughties. So it's definitely not just open box and sell it. But they are the market value. It's not like you're getting a special deal. They are looking at what they're selling for and selling it for that, which is kind of a bit disappointing. There was part of me that hoped, I kind of knew it wouldn't happen, part of me that hoped that they would go, well, we can't sell it for more than RRP.
Yeah.
Because that's the new one.
Yeah, and we're the proper shop.
Yeah. But clearly not.
But no, they're where they are, they're playing the same game as the rest of the market, aren't they?
Isn't it interesting, though, with Rolex, that they know that happens. They know that people buy them waiting list watches and flip them straight away as well. That's part of the thing. And they don't stop it. In fact, they've just joined in. It's almost like it's an important part to the marketing of the watch is the perceived sell-on value. And that they're just they're perpetuating, almost a bit like Emperor's New Clothes. They are almost falsifying it by doing it themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Studio Underdog, when they did that British Watchmakers Day and they released the Fears collab, the Gimlet.
Yeah.
Or the GIMP, as I like to call it, the Gimplet.
Gimplet.
I would have loved that watch.
It's a beautiful watch.
I love the two brands.
And the sapphire dial was
doing
really nice,
a project
isn't it?
together is like, I would love that watch. And the price was insane.
Yeah.
I'd absolutely jump at it.
I think retail was 1,000, wasn't it?
Retail was 1,000. I would 100%. And for us to do that event,
Yeah.
for us to go there, travel, hotel, all the rest of it, I wouldn't get much change back as business expense from $1,000.
No.
So, it's going to cost £2,000 in order to get this watch. I would still, but I knew there was no chance we were going to get it. They only released, I think it was 200. And then they were so adamant that they didn't want scalpers. They only wanted people that loved the watch. Mm-hmm. They were cancelling sales. If they could track down that your eBay account was the one that was flipping a watch, they would just cancel the sale.
The sad thing is that people are selling them on eBay.
Yeah, after. I think the only way they could manage it, in fairness, was anyone that was pre-listing it.
It's difficult, isn't it? But it's very hard to stop flippers. And maybe they're not flippers. Maybe it's innocent sale. But the people that are selling them are selling them for about $3,000.
Yeah.
So...
Do you know what? Just release more. Release more.
Yeah.
Do more. That was an incredible watch. Just do more. Stop the market.
Weird that you would make what is clearly the best watch they've done yet and restrict the amount that's out there.
Yeah.
It's not an odd one, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, the reason I mention it is just about the whole kind of scalped market.
Yeah. And that Rolex are scalping themselves.
It does seem to be a kind of trend thing. But another thing that would be really interesting is you've got like Time and Tide. I mean, they're calling their retail outfit a Discovery Studio.
Yeah.
Love what they're doing.
Yeah.
I love that. They're highlighting events for watch launches.
Yeah. It's cool.
Building up a database of watch addicts. So I get an email saying this brand holding an open evening on this day.
And giving this AD experience to smaller brands that you wouldn't see in a shop like Echo Nutra and Baltic and stuff. You just don't see them in stores.
I tell you, give it time.
Yes.
I think fast forward, by the end of this decade, there will be Discovery Studios in every county.
At least in every major city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll end up at a point where these micro brands now are so good, they should be in ADs.
Yes.
And they should be able to get hands-on. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is with these kind of pop-up events. So having a place that kind of welcomes all watch enthusiasts. I love what they're doing. I think it's disruptive.
Yeah.
And I think it's exciting. Yeah. And I think
there needs to be more of it.
There needs to be more of it, yeah. The reason that, and it was a conversation you had recently, which is why you've obviously brought this subject up, the reason that ADs have an issue is because they are stuffy.
Yeah.
And with that stuffy bullshit, you put off people going in.
Yeah. And
the conversation, which is why this has come about, is someone that has money enough to buy a watch that feels uncomfortable going in there. And that's stupid.
I'll even be honest. There's moments where in our local one that if I'm on my own, I'm like, do I want to go in there? Like I have to it's not like any other shop where the doors open, you just wander in.
Yeah.
And I'll just wander around. It's like, do I really want to go in there and explain to someone what it is I want to do? And I have to probably have in mind what I want to look at before I even sit there. Like this. Because of the stuffy, like you say, stuffy bullshit, it puts you off. The door locked. There is definitely negatives of ADs. Just modernize.
Yeah.
Do the Discovery Studio route. Take the tie off. Right. Open the door a little bit.
Yeah.
I get it. You need security and all the rest of it. Figure it out.
But it's how times have changed. You know, the ADs are stuck where, like the police were 10 years ago with their tattoo rules.
Yes,
and it's kind of just chill. We're just people, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, people like people.
Yeah.
So just be people and chill.
Like,
And the whole thing there makes it very easy for everyone. Like you're going in and you're just buying things that you like.
Yeah.
But for them as well, you're treating everyone exactly the same. Like I'm not going to put a posh voice on just because I'm talking to you.
No.
And I'll probably still drop the odd F-bomb.
Yeah.
Because that's me.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I don't like about this thing maybe in a playful way to see if I'm going to take the mick while I'm in there. Yeah, they as a whole need to modernise. I think the ones that are in shopping centres do a bit of a better job, and it's primarily because they have an open door. And I think that's a huge thing. Open door is massive. And so, yes, the ones on the high street are going to struggle with that because they need security. They just need a way of figuring that out.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Maybe there's a viewing area where everything's behind glass boxes, and then if you want to go and see it, you can. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
But they need to figure out, because it does put people off. If you get over that and you can get in, you can establish a relationship, which is what you were saying is why that's important, then it's an amazing experience. But it is old-fashioned. They do need to modernise.
It's to bring in. That's the key issue. So there's a disconnect. So I want my son to love watches. So how do you bring him into that journey? Well, first of all, an automatic's probably not the best route for him right now.
No.
But something that he finds cool and would wear, so it could be that that's a designer brand. That's fine. Just go with it.
First watch is cool.
So bringing them in is the hardest move. And not everyone wants to spend loads of money on being into watches. So I think, again, entry point pricing.
Yes.
So what brings someone in? And it could be watches that start at 300 quid. Well, I don't know what's to some people that's an insane amount of money to spend on a watch.
When I think about our local ones, a good example, and I'm sure there's high streets across the country the same, that kind of spans everything from Quartz Tizos at that kind of £300-400, right the way up to Patek Philippe's and everything in between.
Yeah.
But their window obviously doesn't show the Tizos.
That's right, yeah.
Their window shows Patek Philippe with no price tag and a Rolex.
If this was
no price tag.
If this was me with an ADs, take a seat.
Yeah.
I'm going to rock up, and I've got a Tizzo PRX here.
Yes.
I'm going to put a land dweller down here as well.
Why pay more?
I'm going to do that, but I'm going to tell you by showing you.
Yeah.
Here's these two watches. Are they the same? No, they're worlds apart.
Yeah.
Feel it. Tell me what your hands are feeling the prices, aren't they?
Yes.
And I think people start to then, so you fall in love at that kind of £600 mark of a PRX.
Yeah.
But you can kind of start to appreciate why this has that value.
Yeah.
And maybe there's some in-betweens. You could show a Tudor Royal, which is maybe, so you're coming in for a PRX today, but maybe in a year's time, this could be the goal.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a big birthday coming up, or maybe that's where you should look, Tudor Royal. And you've got that kind of style and feel, and then it can go further. It just depends on how deep you want to go. But how to get people interested is getting them hands-on. And my fear is if people don't get hands-on, they don't lust after it.
They don't last after it. Or they'll, if you're just buying online, because you can fall in love with watches just online and watching content. There's great content creators, us excluded, out there that'll help you from your journey. But like I was saying, if you don't ever go and touch them, you won't connect with them in the same way. You won't try new things. You won't try new sizes, new styles, new brands. You'll always buy the same things, or you'll buy things that someone else has told you was great. So you go, oh, do you know what? I watched an Andrew Morgan video and he said this watch is great, and now I've gone and bought it myself. That's cool.
But you're not him. You don't have the same size wrists.
Exactly. Yeah.
It looked great in his B-roll, but on you...
And I've done it. And there's been plenty of watches I've seen online that I've bought that are like, oh, that's cool. That spinnaker looked cool and it's in a sale. I'll get that and I'll get it. And I'm like, I don't actually enjoy it as much as the pictures made me think I'd enjoy it.
Sure.
But if I'd sat in the place and tried it, I'd have already been able to make that decision. And if there was a fellow watch nerd the other side said, well, if you like the look of this, you might want to try this instead. And given me a Tizzo instead to try and go, oh, do you know what? I like this way more. It's like, yeah, a little bit more expensive, but you can see why. That's the importance of going into the AD.
Yeah. I think for any, I mean, first of all, you're probably watching this far in because you're a watch addict.
100%.
If you're a watch addict that has only completed a collection by buying online, you are shortchanging yourself.
Yeah, you're missing something.
Make it a goal to pop in to an actual bricks and mortar.
And try watches that you're never going to buy. Oh,
Yeah,
it's such a fun experience. And do what I do, lead the sale. I love doing it.
Stitch yourself up.
Make the salesman think you're going to buy, like, whoa, that's really, and like, oh, how much is it? Oh, that's interesting. Maybe. Go and like try the Rolex on. If you've never put it on, try it on. They're really special in the flesh. But also try the Omega on. Why not? Like, try all these watches. Even if you have no intention of buying them, it just broadens your like watch vocabulary entirely.
Yeah. I've learned a lot from being hands-on with watches and from the people who are super knowledgeable, bearing in mind that's their full-time job.
Yeah.
So they know watches, they know the models within their store.
Yeah.
And wow, you can really learn. Like I know that you love the Monaco and now less.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't unless you went bricks and mortar.
100%.
I know that I loved the Panerai, but I couldn't wait to try one on. Trying it on, I need a Panerai.
It's painful.
It's that's what bricks and mortar does. And
Here's
it
one
kind of
that will
moves
divide
the
people as
goals.
well. Hublot. It's very fun and easy to take the mick, and we can all do it. Overpriced, da-da-da-da. Go and try one of the Fusions on. Tell me it's overpriced then, because God, that feels nice in the flesh.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
These watches are special.
That's do you know what? That's a marketing stunt of being talked about.
Yeah. I think they enjoy the negativity because everyone's saying their name.
Gets everyone talking about
like that Trumpism, isn't it? Like, it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. You're just saying his name.
If you come in and go, Hublot's crap, I'm going to go, take a seat.
Yeah, cool.
I'm going to make you have a look.
Yeah.
Now tell me.
Because some of them are over the top and garish and horrible. Yeah.
No more than a Richard Mille.
Yeah,
no more.
So over the
no
top.
more.
Yeah.
They are. They've got a strong presence, but equally not all of them. And they do feel incredible. So every you've just got to find the watch that feels with you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a world time, or maybe it's a dress, or diver. I don't know, but everyone's got a different vibe. That's for sure. And some people, it's just the color of the dial.
Yeah.
You know, your whole watch box has the same color of dial. We know that person.
You. Oh no! Although you're bucking the trend today with your orange dial.
Do you know? I do typically go for a very dark dial, though, don't I?
Normally
Yeah.
black, but then the last two episodes, you had the Aqua State Relief, which is a silver dial, or grey, and now you've got orange and black.
I do rock a bit of colour.
I take it all back.
Mm,
I'd pigeonholed you. It's not fair.
Yeah, I do try, and I'm always ready to be challenged on it. I did think that if ever I was to consider what a watch looks like, you know, like just close your eyes and visualize a watch, that most people would visualize a Submariner, whether they mean to or not.
So weird. Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, that Submariner is like a kind of James Bond model of, well, it's not James Bond, but it's an all black basically.
Yeah. All black sub. Yeah.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's my taste. That's my go-to. So what has to happen for me is I have to be challenged on it all the time.
But you wouldn't if you didn't go into the AD and actually see it.
Yeah.
If you were searching online, by default, you'd be attracted to the black dial every time.
Yeah.
Because that's you. And that's cool. But when you, like we talked about today.
What I don't want is every roll in the watch box
to be exactly the same.
It's just I've got the same watch by every different brand.
Yeah.
It's just there's no real joy in that.
But when you go into a jeweler's boutique and ADs and you go, do you know what? I'm going to have a look at the opaline dial, the white dial. And do you know what? I actually like it more than the black dial. That wouldn't have happened if you hadn't gone in.
Yeah, true. I did think previously that's cool because now maybe the current model will drop and the black dial will become cheaper, and I would jump on that. But not the case. No. In fact, the black wears smaller. That kind of optical illusion
Weird,
of
isn't it?
The white and such a high bling stainless finish kind of makes it size bigger.
It's odd, isn't it? It's odd.
Opaline, why is it opaline anyway? It's just white. Now I'm kind of falling for all the...
It's just the Tudor Explorer.
Pitter-patter of sales spill, yeah. Just don't say Explorer. Every time... Pro.
Are going to make it a thing so much so that it gets back to them.
Yeah. The one that I could definitely fall for is the Chopard. It's been on my radar for quite a while, and it's just lucky there's nobody that ADs it.
Which Chopard, do you know, is any in particular? The Mille or?
Yeah, I
remember
like
looking at that before.
It's still the split second. I still really love that model. Yeah. It's just
before we wrap up, just and probably a nice way to wrap up in some future episodes as well. What's the current grail? Oh, a lovely little bit of the show. What's the current grail? What's North Star for you right now?
Oh, I mean the next accident that I want is the Amiga.
Nice. Okay. Seamaster.
I've put it off for ever such a long time as being like a reward watch, a milestone watch.
Seamaster, black dial.
Yeah.
Okay. Black wave dial.
Yeah.
On the bracelet.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's the next one that I want.
It's a beautiful watch. Yeah.
And then I think once I've got that out of the way, then I'm probably looking at the Panerai. But I'm in no rush for this at all, and so I enjoy.
I love the wait. Yeah.
I enjoy the accidents that happen in between.
Yeah,
like adding other watches in.
Yeah,
if
there's zero rush, especially with the big ones. There's zero rush. Those models aren't going anywhere. They'll always exist. They've made a million of them. There's going to always be one around. The weight is beautiful, and like you say, accidents happening amongst it. Yeah, I think. For me, the North Star right now is the Zenith.
Defy.
I'm torn.
Oh.
The Defy is more achievable.
The other one is the Primero, is it?
The El Primero Chrono Sport.
Yeah.
Chrono Master Sport.
Is that the one?
That's the one I would deeply love.
Okay.
But it's like Panerai price.
Yeah.
It's a hefty like $5-6 grand watch. So that's one that's worth waiting for. It's not going anywhere. It's, for me, it'd be the centerpiece of a collection that I deeply love it. The Defy is way more achievable and more accessible. Equally beautiful watch, a very different watch. You could have them both. But would I want to spend on having two Zeniths? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think in truth I should wait for the El Primero chronograph.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, let's not make anything up because you'll probably make another accident before then.
100% going to. Yeah.
That's the thing. When you set the big goals at like higher numbers,
yeah,
and you go, bearing in mind life's happening.
Yes,
you have to enjoy life.
Yeah.
So this is just from like disposable.
Yeah.
Well, disposable takes quite a long time to build to that point where you can just dispose.
Yes.
So in between, you're probably going to fall over on something.
Well, I mean, almost certainly we're going to fall over next week.
But I love your choice. It's a great watch,
yeah.
And you should always buy a good watch because it will always get you home, AJ.
And when you do buy a bad watch, let me know because it'll get me one step further away from that Zenith. I'll probably just buy it off you.
Well, that would be nice.
Yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe down there and the dingly bell thing because then you'll get notified about our next video. And if you're over on Spotify, you've got to give us a 5-star, surely.
5-star rating. All podcast platforms have it. You should hit it because it helps us and it's obviously great.
Yeah. And that's all for this one. So thanks. Bye.